Hi and welcome to Student Management System Developing Python. These various tutorials are at the request of one of the viewers out there who would like me to use a Treeview, and this is the Treeview right here instead of a Listbox. And actually the Treeview seems to be much better and I like it myself. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is let's add some more data in there. So I'm going to exit out and let's enter student details in there. And the name is Davis Danson. Date of birth, let's say, all right, that's cool. And there, mail and address is number 13 Ferry Lane. Okay, that's fine. Telephone number, there we go. All we then need to do is to click on add and we can display that. So if we go right down here, let's go scroll right down, and right there guys, that is Davis details. I've actually added it twice. Okay, and we can also delete one. There we go. And as you can see, we only have one of Davis details there. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take you guys straight into Python development environment and we'll put one of these together. Exit, no, and exit, yes. Okay, let's start a new project. I'm going to go to file, new, and there we go. The first thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to create the back end to this project. Okay, to start with, I'm just going to import the following. So that's going to be SQLite 3. Okay, actually, like I said, this is going to be the back end. So I'm just going to comment that out and enter back end in there. Okay, so I'm going to start by defining my function here. I'll call that student data. There, enter semicolon. That's my function created, and let's create my variable that will store my SQL connections. So let's say SQL3.connect. There we go. That is it right there. And I'm going to call the database student. That's the name of my database .db, and close that. Now let's get a cursor on board. So I'm going to say cursor equals connect dot cursor. There we go. Enter parentheses, and I will also like to get that executed. Cursor dot execute. And what do you want to execute first for? I'm just going to enter in there using SQL create a table. Okay, the create, that is the command to develop your own table. So create a table. Okay, if not exist, if not exist, there, and the name of this table is just going to be students. That is it right there. You can just copy that and paste it right there. There we go. And I want the following ID. Now let's choose a lowercase for that. ID. Okay, this ID is going to be the primary key. So this primary key is going to be an integer, really, integer, and that is going to be my primary key. There, comma, then I'm going to have student ID and so on. So that's one of my fields. Let's make this uppercase as well, and the rest of the field. The next one is going to be first name, followed by surname. The first name is going to be text, surname, that will be text as well. There we go. All right, that is my student data created. That is it right there. Now let's create another function. This very function here, that's the function that we use to add all of the data straight into my system. So I'm going to call this, let's say, add student. Let's say student ref. Okay, student record. Okay, not reference, and the following fields. There we go. And I'm going to grab this here. Let's grab this, all of this here, maybe up to here. Just come right down here, paste that there. So let's sort that out. Okay, however, in the case of this execute, I'm going to change that to insert. So let me get rid of all of this and just change that to insert into the table, the following. There we go. So it's going to insert all of this information of the student straight into my database. So that takes care of my add. Now the next one we want to do is, let's create another one. I'm going to call that view data. Okay, let's change that from uppercase to lowercase. Delete all of that. View data. There we go. Now in the case of view data, I'm going to grab some there. Let's grab all of this here as well, and I'll grab, let's just grab it all and change it around. There we go. All right, I have my database, I have the cursor, executes. The changes has to come from the execute as well. Get rid of all of these, and let's change that to select. Let me use uppercase for that. Select all from student. There, and close that. So that is my statement for that. And in here, I'm going to change this to, let's ask you to fetch. So before that, I'm going to ask, let's create a variable there. I'll call that row equals fetcher rows. Let's say rows equals cursor dot fetcher. All right, let's to fetch my data in there, and we close it. Then let's return the row. Right underneath here, let's say return rows. There we go, and that takes care of my view as well. So we're almost done with the back end. Okay, the next thing I want to do now is I'm going to now delete. Okay, we have insert, we have create, insert, select. So let's delete. I'm going to grab all of this as well. Let's paste that underneath here and change things around. There we go. Move this down a little bit so that you guys can see it. So this, I'm going to change this to delete data. Okay, delete records. Yeah, okay. Come in here. Let's go for lowercase. Delete rec. That is fine. And the record to be deleted will be from the student's database. Also execute, in the case of execute, we just change that to delete. Delete and get rid of this. There. delete from student data. Okay, student database where, let's use uppercase for that, where ID equals question mark there. Now comma there, just enter comma there, ID, and there we go. Get rid of this, and that is my delete statement taken care of. So I'm going to have to ask the connector to commence and close, then get rid of the threshold, and that takes care of the delete statement. Okay, I'm going to save this. It's not saved. Okay, that is it. Have a good look at it before I save it. Move it up a little bit so that you guys can see it all. Alright, that is fine. I can't see any error, so I'm just going to save that file. Save as. Okay, there it is. I'm going to call it studentdb underscore backend. So let's copy that. Save. There. That is it, saved. I'm now going to go back to file. Let's work on the front end. Open up a new page. Okay. With my new page open, I intend to import the following and say from Tikinta import all, and I'm going to also, let's import my database. So import my database, the back end. Okay, that's the back end. So I've imported that. This one is the front end, so I might as well just, let's put a front, let's say front end here so that you guys know the difference. Alright, that's my front end. So let's import the following. Let's go for TTK from Tikinta. Let's grab the TTK. That will help with me adding my Treeview. So I'm going to use some random numbers in there. So I'm going to say import random. If I don't use that, I'll delete it. So what about message? Let's import message box. Message, I import Tikinta dot message box. Message box. There we go. That's it right there. And all the data that I will import will be as follows. There we go. Those are the libraries that I intend to use. So right underneath here, let's come down here and just create a class, and this class I'm going to call it student. Let's use uppercase for that. Student. There. Just before I go any further, my database, the back end, I actually have to, let's kind of like close that. So if you haven't done that, just do this. It's no big deal. Let's paste that underneath here. That is it. Okay, that's it. More or less closing it. So let's open up my front end now. Save as well, and back to the front end. Okay, let's initialize the following. So I'm going to enter method any or function. So I'm going to say self comma root. This is actually good for a project, the university standard project. So import the following and add the following. So that is going to be set.root equals root. The blank space is to get the title, dead center, and this is the title of my database, and this is the size, the geometry. Okay, now that that is all done, I'm going to declare the following variables. So let's come right down here, just say student db equals, let's make that a string variable, enter parentheses, and let's enter first name equals string there. Okay, variables declared. Now let's create frames. So right underneath the variable, I'm going to enter frames there. There we go. The first one, I'm going to call that main frame, and the main frame equals frame, and let's enter. Main frame is going to be a child of the system, which is, that's the root, and I'm going to say let's add a border of about 10 around it, and the width of that main frame, I'm going to make the width about 1350. Okay, what else do we want? We're going to go for height equals 700, and I'm going to get it to the leaf. That's going to be rigid. That's good. Now let's make the back color equals, okay, that blue. Okay, that blue, that's fine. I'm just going to round up the mainframe itself, so let's say mainframe dot grid right underneath here. There. So let's copy that. I'm going to copy it and just use it for the others. Let's come in here so that we can speed it up. Add more. Right. And there we go. And that takes care of my mainframe there. Okay, let's come down so that you guys can see this. I am also going to round up the whole process here so that we can save and run it just to see what I've been working on. There we go. Name equals main. Enter. Okay. And what else? So let's just enter apostrophe there, and there we go. Alright, what else? I'm going to say root, that's equals tk, now lowercase k, and this application itself equals student root. Let's see, did I use uppercase? Yeah, I did use uppercase. I'm going to say student, open parentheses, and root. Yeah, the student is the child of the root. And all we just need to say is root dot main loop. There we go. I'm going to save this before I go too far. Let's save, and I'm just going to try it out. I'm going to call it Student Database with Treeview. Student DB. I'm going to call it DB B, Frontend, and Treeview. There we go. Student Database Frontend Treeview. Save that. Okay, let's just run it and see how that's going to look like for now. Let's click on run. And there we go. That's the frame. It's not looking much now, so let's enter some widget into it, so that will makes it look a bit more presentable. So right underneath the mainframe here, I'm going to enter the following widget. Let's copy this, paste that right underneath here. The very first one I'm going to enter, that will be my title. So for the title, that will be inside the let's paste that right inside the left frame one, no, title frame, this one. I'm going to paste that right inside title frame. So let's come right down here, and that is going to be self dot lbl title, that equals a label, and this label is going to be inside the title frame, comma, font. I'm going to make that equals area, there, and let's make the size about, comma, let's say 56, comma, and we make that bold, apostrophe, close that off, comma, and what is that? The title will be students. No, what is this? Get rid of that. Right, the title is going to be student database management system. Grab all of this and just paste it right in there. There we go. And border bg equals 7. Close that, come right here and close off the title. Title dot grade, and the row is going to be on the first row anyway, so 0, comma, and the column itself is 0 as well, equals 0, comma. Let's get it padded x-axis. I'm going to make that approximately 132. There we go. Okay, let's get rid of this one. Students management system, that's fine. So I'm going to run that now. Let's run it, save and run. Let's see how that's going to look like. There we go, look at that, looking good. Okay, one down. I will now copy this, so let's come down here, paste that underneath. So that is my title taken care of. So let's create other widget. This title, let's put that title in its own commented area there. Okay, get rid of this. This is just, I'm just going to call this widget. Okay, so this is going to be for student ID. Okay, ID, that's for student ID, and this is going to be student ID as well. Copy that, then we'll just change things around, and the title for that is going to be student ID. So come down here, change that to student ID. The font size, change that to about 12. That's not bad. And I'm going to get it anchored. Anchored, that will be west equals west. And to be on the safe side, I'm going to also justify it. Justify left. Okay, there. And here, get rid of all of these, and I'll just, let's enter strictly. It's all to make sure it's to the west, and I will get it packed equals 5. There we go. Okay, now what I want to do, I've changed this one to lowercase. What I want to do is I'm going to, let's change the frame. I'm going to make it left frame. Copy that and just paste that here. Then we'll run it and see. run. We save that first, and let's see that. There we go. That's it. Okay, now the next thing that I want to do is I'm going to copy this and just change it around for the text. No, it's actually called entry. Change that to entry, then we can then speed up the whole process. So I'm going to call that txt, and this is going to be entry. There. Okay, in the case of entry, make this about 5. Get rid of all of this, doesn't need that. And the anchor, I'm going to get rid of the anchor as well. Get rid of the anchor, yeah, and just change that. Let me change that to width. Width equals 40. Okay, and this, let's say it's left as well. Okay, and the column is going to be 1 because this is on row 0, column 0, so row 0, column 1, and I'm going to just get rid of all of this. There we go. Now let's do one thing while I'm still here. I'm going to grab the student ID, this variable. I've just enter variable here, so let's comma text variable equals the student ID. All right, let's try that out. Go to run, and let's see. There we go. That's fine. All right, I can just speed up the rest process now. Just change things around. Copy that, come right down here, paste, and that is going to be for the first name. Change this to first name, and this is going to be row 1, and there. That is for the first name. Change the names around, but let's run it first and see that. There we go. Now we have first name. So the next one is going to be the surname. Copy, and we just change things around. Paste. This is number 2, row 2. There we go. And this is surname. There. As for surname, run. Let's see. There we go, guys. Looking good. Now I'm going to speed that up and just change the names, the widget names, to match the name on the labels. And right there, guys, I've copied and pasted and just changed the names around. Surname, date of birth, age. And right here, this is the only different one. That's a combo box, and inside the combo box I have female and male. Okay, first row is empty, second row is female and male. There, that is it right there. So that's the only difference. So have a good look at it. So bring it down there. So I'm going to run it. Let's run it and you see that. See how it all looks like. That's how it's looking now. Alright, right here I'm going to now enter a tree view, and underneath here I will add buttons. So let's do that. Close that. Okay, right underneath here, let's start work with that will be the tree view. So that is just, let's enter that in there. I want to copy that and paste it right underneath here. And paste another one. That will be for my buttons, and here that is for my tree view. Tree view here. There. Okay, with the tree view, first of all I'm going to create a scroller, so I've called that scroll X. That's just the name I'm calling it. Let's use lowercase equals scroll bar. There we go. The bar should be lowercase, and it's going to be a child of, I'm going to call that the right frame. This very frame up here. Where is it? Right frame 1. Grab that. No, that should be right frame A, really. Okay. Come right down here. Paste that in here. There. Okay, the orientation of this, I would like that to be horizontal. So let's enter orient equals horizontal. Yeah. There, that takes care of that. That's the scroll bar, the horizontal scroll bar. And I'm going to need another one for vertical, so I might as well copy this and just paste it right underneath here. Change this, the name of this to y-axis. Let's make that lowercase, and this will become vertical. Vertical. So T, yeah, there we go. Okay, so now let's create my, now that I have the scroll bar, I'm going to create the Treeview self. So I'm going to call the self dot student list. Yeah, that's okay. Student list. Right. That will be equals ttk dot Treeview. There we go, and this is going to be inside my right frame here. Paste that there, and the height. Let's see, height and width. Okay, now let's go for height. No, not width. Height. That will be equals 12. The column. In the case of the columns, is going to include the following: all of the data for my database. That is number, comma, we have another one, so just grab that and just copy and paste it, then change the data in there. There. So this is going to be for numbers, and this is going to be student ID. This will be first name. This is going to be surname, and here that will be date of birth. Then let's come down here. This is going to be age. Age, let's move it this way. We have age there, then we have gender, and finally mobile. There we go. Command of it. Close that bracket. There. And now I'm now going to use, let's say, X roll, X scroll. And that will be command equals this very one here. So I'm now attaching the scroll bar to my Treeview. Dot set, comma, the next one is for the y-axis. So I'm going to copy all of this and just change it for the y-axis. Paste, and this is going to be y. And this one will be y as well. There. And let's close this off here. That takes care of that. Okay, I'm going to, let's get this packed, then we just try it out. So I'm going to say scroll X dot pack, and that is going to be side. It's going to be at the bottom. There we go. Comma field equals X. Okay, and we'll repeat the same thing for the y-axis. So I'm going to copy this again for the y-axis and just change it around. Paste right underneath there and change this to y. This is y here, and this will be y as well. There, I just spotted an error here, horizontal. Let's change the spelling. Let's get the spelling right. There we go. There. Okay, so I think that's all for that. I'm going to try it out, but before then, let's see. Let's just try it out and see. The only thing I will see will be the scroll bars. There we go. Look at them. Okay, that's good. Now let's come down here. Next thing I want to do, let's grab my student details here. This very one. Grab that, and I want to enter my data in there. That will make up the heading. So I'm going to say self.studentlist.heading. That is going to be the very first one. Will be, let's call that will be for this. That's the very first one. And the text on it, I'm going to make the text equals that. Close that. Now let's take care of the second one. Grab all of these, paste it right here, and this is going to be this one. Paste, and here I'm just going to change that to student ID. This will be first name. And this will be first name as well. That's the database that will be in there. The field actually. Then followed by surname. And surname here. There. So let's just speed that up. I guess you guys understand what I'm about to achieve there. Okay, so all of my fields is there, and these are the names that will show up right on top of the Treeview. So right underneath here now, I'm going to just enter self. Now self square bracket. I'm going to ask you to show the headings equals headings. Right, should be an S there. Okay, and the heading that I want you to show, they will be inside this very column. So let's create all of those columns, or shall we do it like this? I'm going to grab all of these here. Yeah, grab them, paste them right underneath here, and I'll just change things around there. Come right down here, and the headings, I'm going to change the heading to columns. So grab that, come right here, headings become columns, paste, and I will change this to width. Width equals, I'm going to make that about 20. There we go. Okay, so repeat the same thing for these ones. Let's just change all of the headings first. change them all to columns. Almost there now. Right there. And change the rest to width. Come in here, grab this, change that to width, and that's, I'm going to make that about 70. And this one, we make that about 100. The following one will be 100 as well. That is the maximum column width. So here, change that as well, make that maybe about 70. For the age, let's make that 70 as well. Gender will be about 70 as well. So we'll grab that and just paste that here. 70 for gender. And this is for the address. We're going to have to increase that a little bit. On address, we can make that 120. No, 144. And this will be 120. Okay, now let's come right down here. Underneath here, I'm just going to say self.pack. I just want to pack this Treeview now. Dot pack, and I will ask it to fill equals both dot expand it equals 1. There. Okay guys, that is how it looks now. So what I'm going to do now is let's just run it and see how that's going to look like. Okay, that's the trees. All that is left for me is to take care of the buttons. Those are the widgets, headings, and that's the frames, variables, and there. So let's run it and see. Okay guys, look at that. That is looking beautiful. I like it. Alright, you see right underneath here, I'm going to add buttons underneath here. Okay, I'm going to exit out, and right in here, let me add some buttons there. The very first button is going to be self dot. Let's call that btn add new records equals buttons. Okay, and this button is going to be a child of top frame. Let's see, top frame 1. Yeah, come right down here, or instead of calling it top frame, I can call it buttons. Okay, let's come down here. So top frame 1, that's okay. Come on, get it padded y-axis. I'm going to make that equals 1. And the border, I'm going to make that 4. Comma, fonts. Let's see, fonts. Let's grab font in here instead of me typing it all out. Font and text on it. Copy that, bring it down here, and paste. There. So the font is, let's make that about 20, and the text that I will have on it, I'm going to call that, let's go for add new. There, I have that. What about the height? Let's put the height underneath here. I'm going to say height. Let's put it here. Height, width and height. Width, we make that about 12, comma height, we make that equals 2, comma, press enter. And what about, okay, let's bring this down. I think that will do. press enter, and here I'm going to run that up. Let's run it up, and let's say dot grade, and this grade is going to be row equals 0, column equals 0 as well. And I'm just going to say let's pack it equals 1 and close that. That will make up my very first button. Now let's see. Let's run it and see how that's going to look like. Then we can just copy and paste. Yeah, not bad. Close that. I'm going to copy that and change the names around. The next one will be for display. So let's get it indented. Yeah, that's display. Paste. What should I call this? I'm going to call this delete. Okay, change this to display. Right, and this is, no, this should have been column 1. Yeah, column 0 actually, and this is column 1 here, and this is 2. That's correct. Okay, I have delete. This is delete, and the next one is going to be reset and exit. So grab that, grab those two and paste them underneath here. This will be exit, and the data here is exit. This is delete, or reset. Actually, I already have delete, reset. There. Okay, this is 2, that'll be 3, and 4 here. So let's run it and see how that's going to look like. Then I'll just change the names around. Yeah, there we go. All my buttons are ready, but I'm going to add some spacing in there so that I can fill up the whole of this layer underneath here. There. Alright, so to do that, I'm going to come in here, grab this, I'm just going to paste that here and change it to about 24. There we go. Copy that, paste that here and here. Let's see how that's going to work. Run. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Alright, that's good enough for me. Alright, that's fine. So let's change the names around. So the name here is exit. So this will become exit. Yeah, I already have that. Reset. That's reset. And here that is delete. Copy and change that to delete. Okay, this is display. So all of my buttons are taken care of. There. They all have their own unique name. Run. There we go, guys. But they are not doing anything. So let's put some functions together so that we can at least see something done. Alright. Okay, let's exit out and take care of the functions. I'm going to add that right up here underneath the framework here. So let's grab this. Let's paste it right underneath here. Okay. Let me undo that. I'm going to paste that right underneath my variables here. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. And the very first one, let's take care of the exit first. So I'm just going to define the function for it. I'm going to call it iExit. There we go. And for my iExit, let's enter a message box. iExit, that will be Tkinter dot message box, and that is going to be dot ask yes or no. Okay, so ask yes or no, ask yes no. There, and let's close that. So what is going to ask is first of all, let's get the title Student Database Management System or Student Management System in there. That will be for the title. Paste that in there, get rid of this. And out here, I'm going to say comma. That will be for the title though. And the next one is going to be something like confirm if you want to exit. Yeah. Done. I'll close that. I will now use an if statement to determine the selection made. If iExit is less than or is greater than, okay, greater than 0, then what we want the system to do is root dot destroy. So that would close the system. There we go, and ask it to return. Okay, I'm now going to call this iExit. I'm going to call it inside my exit button here. Let's come right down where it's exit right here. Let's say comma command equals iExit. There. So let's try that out. Run. And click on that. No, I don't want to exit. Yes, I do want to exit. There we go. That's fine. The exit is working. So go back in there. Now let's take care of my reset. Come right down here, and I'm just going to call that define. Oh no, function. Define a function reset. Let's call it iReset. iReset. There. For function iReset, I will grab the name of all of this. Let me grab the name of this guy here. Dot clear. Okay, I'm going to grab, since I'm going to grab the name. Yeah, that's right. Okay, instead of coming, just grab one or two of them, come back in there, I will delete it. It might be confusing what I'm about to do, but it will get simplified. Delete all of this. That will be dot delete 0, end. That should be up. That should be uppercase there. So I've just deleted that. Right. I don't need this. I don't need to do anything with that. I need this. Grab all of this and use it here. There we go. That takes care of the first name. Now the surname. Delete all of these and come right here, paste that in there. That's surname. Delete. That take care of this as well. There. I guess you guys see what I copy just to speed things up. You can type it all out if you want. Okay, I need a couple more. So just scroll right down. I'm going to take it from the age. Okay, I need 4 more. 1, 2, 4. Okay. Now take it up there and just do the same thing. Paste it here. Now grab this, and for this, there, delete all of this. That goes off here as well. Paste, and this goes. And all of this goes. And finally this one, and get rid of all of this. Alright. Okay. And get them indented now. Control indent. Right. Okay, that's delete taken care of. Or reset, I mean, not delete, reset. Okay. Alright, let's copy all of this. I'm gonna copy that. Come right here and reset here. I'm just gonna say command equals that. Paste, copy, reset, and the command equals, and paste that right here with a comma there though. So that is it. Command equals reset. So these two buttons are taken care of. Let's go back in here. Okay, let's add data. I'm going to call that function add data. There we go. In case of function add data, first of all, let's check if any of my variables here, if they are empty. So I'm going to go for maybe 1, 2, and 3. Okay, grab those. Yeah, I'll just grab it this way. And I'll use an if statement underneath here. If, okay, the following, if they are empty, if this guy equals, or if this equals nothing, okay, so that is going to be equals nothing, but it's going to be dot get though. Dot get if it equals nothing, or this one here, grab that, paste that here, undo that, undo what I've just done. So do that again, cut, paste. If it equals nothing as well, there's going to be another all. There we go. And finally this one here, I'm just bring that here. If it equals nothing as well, okay, if they are all nothing, I want a message box to pop up. Okay, so let's get this one sorted properly. Right, let's grab this message box just to say something. Grab all of that and paste it right underneath here. So this message box will pop up, maybe telling the user to enter a data if any of them is empty. Okay, enter, let's say enter correct data. Yeah, data is fine. There. Okay, so that's taken care of. Else, we want the following: the back end. Yes, my database, that is it. Back end, and come right here, paste the back end. If you guys can still recall, the back end was the code that we wrote for the back end of the database. So back end dot add student record. And what record do you want me to add? The record to be added will include every single details of the student. Okay, let's go for, because I'm going to be using this, so I'm going to grab all of these. Where is it? Back end here. Paste, and I'll just enter comma into them, and that will be .get. Okay, .get. Do we have a dot there? We don't. Undo and just enter a dot. Paste that. That will be a comma there, comma. So that's the first one. Okay, that's for the student ID. Now, the rest we enter .get for them as well. Let's get it indented. There. Repeat the same thing here. Copy and paste this here, right here. That's for first name, surname, date of birth, age, gender, address, and finally we have mobile. Right, get rid of that. So we have we open up a bracket here and close the bracket here. That is it, all done. Okay, now I'm now going to insert. So to insert, I'm going to grab all of these again. Grab all of these. On the following, paste, and let's come near this. Here, that is going to be my system. Okay, I want it inserted onto the Treeview self dot student list. Okay, dot insert okay, up to the end, comma, and what we are inserting is going to be all of these data. Get rid of this first. There. And the first one is student number. Yeah, that is correct. And there. Alright, so that takes care of that. Okay, let's run this up as well. Okay, all of that is done. One thing I should have done earlier is to increase the font size. It's just 12. Looks a little bit too small though. Okay then, make that. Apply, click on OK, 14. So you guys should be able to see it much better. Take it from the top. Bring it down. There we go. Yep, as a frame and the various widget that was used. Treeviews, the Treeview, and right here the buttons, and there. Okay, back up here now. See up here? Let's do one thing here. I'm going to use super. Let's say super self. And that is going to be this self student ID, student list, comma, self. Hopefully that shouldn't give any error, just in case, else we have to delete that. Okay. All right, I'm going to save that though. Save, and let's come right down here and call this inside the button. So I have 3 buttons working. I have 2 more. This here, this goes in here, and that is going to be command equals, copy all of that, paste that in here. So 2 to go, display and delete. Okay, now let's take care of maybe delete. Okay, copy that, paste that here, or maybe take care of the display first before delete. Yeah, display. Display data. Right. And I'm going to call the display data here as well inside my add there. You see this add? I want you to automatically display whatever data that I have as well. Paste that in here. Okay, and right here, those are the codes, lines of code for the display data. Just have to speed that up. It's getting too long. So now let's take care of delete. Do that. There we go. And let's get it indented. That's for delete. Okay, let's see. Yeah, that's fine. Those are the lines of code for delete. So I'm going to now call display data and delete. So let's grab that. Now I should change that to data. Grab this. Copy, and let's go straight down to display. Where is display? This is display. Paste that in there. And just grab this. Paste that here. And I need that of delete as well, so that will be delete data. Delete data. Okay, all of the commands is taken care of. Command for display data, command for delete data, and reset, exit, add. Okay, for display data, there, that is correct. So let's come in here. All right, all taken care of. But there's one important thing for this system to work. I need to be able to see the data on the data grid view here. So I'm going to create another function, the last function. This one I'm just going to call it student records. So function student record, student rec. Let's get this correct. All right, and enter parentheses. There we go. Now for the student record, I wanted to create a variable. Let's create a variable there. I'm going to call it. It's going to be a global variable anyway. I'm going to call it SD student, which stands for student data, and I'm also going to reset. Let's say reset. I think it's called iReset. Yeah, I'm calling my recent function here. This very one here. I've just called it in there. So let's go back in here. Now we'll create the following variables. The very first one, I'll call it view information, and the information I want you to view is going to be inside the student, this very one, student list. So let's say view info, that is equals student. Copy all of that, paste, dot focus. Then I will also say learner, another variable, learner data is equals dot item, and the item will be inside the view info. There we go. Now let's say SD equals this. Paste that there, and that's all there is to that. So the next thing I want to do is to call each of my, let me go up there and just copy those widgets. Where is it? I have them in here. I'm going to grab all of those. It's going to be easier for me that way. Grab it, come right down here, paste, and just change things around. There we go. Bring it down. Okay, the very first one is going to be end of, that will be comma SD array number 1 there. Okay, I guess you guys get the old idea. So here will be insert, not delete, insert, right? So there. So I'm going to copy that and use that for the others. Copy, paste. This one will be 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 6, we have 7 and 8. Okay, this is 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. There we go, all done. But for the 6th one, that is a combo box. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use the variable that is declared in there. I'll call it gender. Let's delete that. Delete gender.set. So it's only going to just set. Let's just set. And what is setting is just going to be the content that I have inside the 6th one there. While up here I was meant to enter the value. Values. There we go. Right. We will now call this inside my Treeview. So to round things up, I'm going to go straight to the Treeview now. Let's grab this because I need this inside the Treeview. Copy the student record. And let's, I think the Treeview is right down here. Yeah, there we go. Right underneath here, I'm going to paste that, then grab all of this. There's Treeview details, paste that in there. And that is going to be dot bind, and open the bracket, speech mark, less than and greater than, close the speech mark, comma. Now in here we then enter button release. That is the event that goes in there. Button release. Okay, -1. Alright, I think that is fine. So close that. Now underneath here, let me get it displayed as well. Display data. There we go. And that's all there is to it. Okay, I'm going to save it. File, save. Okay, so let's just have a quick look before any other thing. Oh boy, look at this. Get rid of that. And this as well. I think that is fine. So let's see. I'm going to go to file and save again. Okay. The other thing is, look at this, my student database, the back end. I'm calling the back end there with the wrong names. Okay, NYI. The name of the back end is STD database, which is student database. So let's look for them and get them corrected. There we go, that's one here. Okay, I might as well just find and correct it all. Let's enter something in there, paste that in there, close that and open. Then correct it all at once. Yeah, that is it. What other errors do I think I may have? Okay guys, I think we are done. So I'm going to try this out. So let's scroll down. So have a good look at the lines of code before I run it anyway. Here I imported as follows, and that is the back end imported as well. And let's bring it down as a class, and the definition of the interface, variables that were declared, functions. So let's enter functions in here. There we go. Those are the functions: exit function, reset function, and here that's where I add the data straight onto the table using my back end as well. Come down here, and that is to display whatever data. Here delete, and here that is more or less like the driver that drives in the data. Here I have the frame or the frames, title right here, and here I have the widget, the various widgets used, labels, entry, labels, the entry, you can see them all. Okay, so, and here you might not see this properly. Those are meant to be the variables, calling the various variables there. Another variable here, hidden, bring it down. And here, that is your Treeview, my man. You want the Treeview, that is your Treeview here, all the way down here. Okay, and here we have the buttons. Okay, it seems I have an error here, so I need to correct the function I call inside the delete. So let's go straight to the delete here. There we go. Look at what I'm calling there. I'm just going to paste that in there. That's wrong. Alright, that is it. So the delete is taken care of, and there, and that's it. So I'm going to run it and let's see how that's going to work. Save. Let's enter the following, and in there I'm going to enter the following student data or whatever in there, and the name is going to be Captain Alan Brime, and date of birth we just make that up, 10/05. There. Age we make it about 40, and gender is male. Address number 10, Ghostown, and mobile number or telephone number, whatever. Let's enter that in there. There we go. Now click on add. As you can see, there's nothing in here, so I'm going to click on add, and let's display it. There we go. Look at that, guys. Let's see if I add again and display, add and display. Let's try the delete now. We seem to have a lot of details of Captain Alan there, so let's delete. There we go. That's gone. That's gone as well. Well guys, as you can see, the system works as expected. So with that, my man, I believe I've managed to answer your query. And I suppose you enjoyed. So with that, I'm going to call it the end of this very interesting tutorial, very good for university project. And I wish you all good luck. And please do subscribe to my channel, and you can also join to become a member of this channel. So I'm going to say bye for now.